Hi everyone, Mark Cabaniss here once again for a digital reading session. And with me today once again is the world famous Ruth Elaine Schram. Hey Ruthie.
Hey Marcus.
Oh, it's so good to see you always.
Thank you. Always a pleasure to see you too.
How's the weather in Birmingham today?
It is absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. It does not make me think Christmas.
That's right. That's right, but that's okay because we're going to think Christmas right now, aren't we?
That's right. I'm going to think Christmas anyway.
That's right, and we're going to think Christmas about the Noel Critter Motel. And that's a new children's musical that Ruthie and I have written. And Ruthie, what a blast always to do something like this with you. And I'll start off by telling you guys that really, as sometimes is the case, but particularly in this case, the title of the work came first. And then we fleshed it out from there. But what kind of the title and concept did come simultaneously in this case, because I was thinking, wouldn't it be funny if the stable, behind the inn where the famous innkeeper or infamous innkeeper was located, what if that stable back there was actually a motel? The animals were running it like a motel. And it's the Noel Critter Motel. And so we have Major Moo, who is the head of the motel, and then Annie Lamb is a newspaper reporter from the Bethlehem Chronicle who visits the motel that day to learn what's going on with this census that Caesar has commissioned and demanded. And so Annie Lamb uncovers a lot of things, and of course they have a life-changing episode that happens in the motel, the stable that night. But there are a lot of fun characters, 20 minutes in length, 5 songs. Ruthie, what are your thoughts of the musical, and what are the names of those 5 songs?
Well, as always, Marcus, it is just a joy and a pleasure to work with you and to see the creative things that you come up with, something always fresh and always fun. So it's just a delight to work with you. The first song is Tiny Bit of Heaven, which is actually the name of the hotel, the little motel when we start off. And then we go into He Will Come, which is tells about how the Messiah is going to come. And then What the People Say, which again talks about first the prophets told the people something, and then the people tell each other something, and the animals have overheard all this going on. And then, of course, the Messiah does come, and they recognize him, and that song is the beautiful ballad of the musical called You Are Emmanuel. And then at the end, we reprise Tiny Bit of Heaven and incorporate Joy to the World. And also in one of those songs, there are some other carols incorporated. So some familiar melodies that the congregation will recognize, even if the singers don't. And we'll mix that. That always makes them easier to teach. And it's just always nice to hear those familiar Christmas melodies that we long to hear this time of year. So
perfect, Ruthie. Well said. And I'm glad you mentioned the carol aspect of the musical too, because those carols, you so beautifully wove them in there with your wonderful arrangements, and the way you, as usual, write the piano accompaniments and the wonderful care you take with the vocal ranges and everything assures success for the kids and their directors out there. And so let me say one more thing about the plot before you guys listen to it. The thrust of the musical is that one of the aspects of the plot is that the animals who run the motel do not want any humans at all inside the motel. They let the innkeeper in because, well, he feeds them. But in any event, what happens is they realize when Jesus comes into their world that maybe they had it all wrong, that good things can happen, miraculous things can happen in unexpected places with unexpected people, with ordinary people. And so that's also a part of the thrust of the musical as well. But enough talking for now, right, Ruthie?
Right.
Let's listen now to excerpts from the Noel Critter Motel.
Stay on Friday night for the Got it. Cows and chicks, magic tricks, unlimited buffet. Incredible. But how will you top that to keep people coming back?
David Copperfield. We're in negotiations.
Who?
He's a shepherd from Jerusalem who makes elephants disappear.
Ooh! Ah! Well, I'm actually here in Bethlehem because of the commotion due to the census. And through my research, I interviewed some prophets, and it looks as if the long-awaited Messiah might be born soon in Bethlehem.
In this little one-camel town, you can't be serious.
Oh, I'm as serious as Caesar and his census.
Can you say that again, but faster?
Not gonna push my luck.
Yes, we've all heard the Messiah will come.
And some prophets have said that he will come into the world as a baby.
Ha, ha, ha. All this talk of a Messiah. You must get beyond such foolish notions. It's not going to happen now or ever.
But what about the prophecies?
And the promises.
Forget it. That's poppycock and nonsense.
How do you spell that?
Never mind. If you want to be a great reporter, Miss Annie Lamb, the first thing you must do is stick to the facts. And the facts in this case are bleak. I only dwell in hard evidence. Dreamers dream big dreams with stars in their eyes. But I am here to tell you I'm the wisest of the wise. Don't believe in foolish things you cannot prove or see. Please listen very carefully. I'm sure you will agree.
Actually, we're not sure.
Those were excerpts from the Noel Critter Motel, a new 20-minute reproducible musical for children for Christmas by me and the lovely Ruth Elaine Schram here. Ruthie, I've already said the 20-minute length about it. Why do you think that's so special about this musical? How does that work, and why is that a good point?
Well, when you consider the limitations and the abilities of children, kindergarten through grade 4, for which this is designed, I think that's an excellent length for a musical. 5 songs, one of those which is repeated. It has new lyrics, but the melody is repeated. And again, as I said, incorporating carols, familiar melodies that they may or may not know, but the director will certainly know them, so it helps them to teach the music to the singers. But it's just a good length for that age group. It's not too much, even with limited rehearsal time, for them to memorize and internalize. And another thing, Mark, that I love about our musicals is that the songs are worth remembering. The songs tell the wonderful story of Jesus coming to earth and being our Redeemer and our Savior, and that's what we want them to remember. The dialogue will probably be forgotten, and maybe even the storyline, but they'll remember those precious songs about Jesus coming and being the Savior who has come to redeem all of us. So
that is so beautifully said. And you know, I think you probably, like me, were in the kids' choir when you were a child. And you're so right. I remember, that wasn't that long ago, Ruthie. You know, it was only 107 years in my case. But it's so true. It's so true what you say, that they do internalize these messages. And so, you know, I'll tell you guys too, watching that Ruthie is always, that's her thing that she always drills down on. She says, you know, Mark, let's just keep in mind that these songs, they're going to remember these songs. And so we want them to be theologically accurate and memorable and singable and fun to sing, and yet have some meat on them, the bones as well. And so I think you directors can feel assured when you look at the entire musical and not just excerpts that that's been one of the driving factors here. And yes, we want them to be a little quirky and fun too, and with some surprises, you know. And I think you'll find that as well in this one. Ruthie, thank you so much for being here to talk about this new musical, and thank you for lending your substantial talents as always, Ruthie. You're delightful as a person and as a writer, and the contributions you have given and continue to give to sacred and secular music over the years are so appreciated and recognized, and so thank you.
Thank you, Marcus. Always a joy to work with you and write for you.
Thank you so much. And thank you for listening to this digital reading session for the Noel Critter Motel, and Merry Christmas.